with my blanket and my clipboard, and I got to work on this wolf coloring page. So I wanted to turn it into some kind of fantasy art, and at first I thought I was going to add maybe some wings or a horn, make it some kind of like Pegasus, unicorn, wolf, but then I thought, what I'm going to do is make a city on its back and make it this giant like spirit wolf thing. And so I started to work on this little palace here. And I looked at several different options. I was thinking maybe something like the Taj Mahal, then maybe St. Basil's Cathedral, and then I ended up settling somewhere in between the two. After I got the palace sketched out, I got to work coloring the wolf. The plan is to use a marker to do all the little lines inside the wolf to get the design in there, and then go over it with colored pencils and do all the shading with the colored pencil. And for those of you who are new to my channel, so what I've been doing is taking this stack of coloring pages that were given to me and trying to turn them into something completely different from their original intended purpose. So the goal is to break the rules and do something completely different than whatever the coloring page is trying to tell you to do. So if you have not done this, you have to try it. It is so fun, and it will definitely push your creativity. So I challenge you to go grab a page that you don't like and turn it into something fantasy related. Try to think as outside of the box as you possibly can. The great thing about doing this is it forces you to do art that you normally wouldn't, that would be outside of your wheelhouse. So if you ever feel like you got stuck in a rut, you have to try this challenge. You can go to Wheel of Names and just type in a whole list of different themes and just randomly pick a theme and force yourself to turn whatever page you're working on into that theme. So after I was finished with the wolf, I started to work on the background. So I drew some mountains in the background. That way you could really get an idea of the scale of the wolf, that he's large, that he's massive, bigger than even the mountains. And in between the two mountains, I'm gonna have this big pond area with a ship under the wolf as well. So you can definitely tell that it's the wolf that's large, and the city and the ship are actually normal size. For the palace, I decided to go with orange and yellows and reds to contrast with the wolf because it's blue and teal. And the walls, that were just a plain brown. I did just basic shading with, dark brown on one side, light brown on the other side. I kept it super simple, nothing too fancy. And because I did not want to paint super thin right next to the palace, I decided to color the sky with colored pencil right around the palace so I could get those fine details, and I would blend my paint into the colored pencil, which turned out to be a little bit of a challenge later on. And then I outlined the city in black to make it pop and make it look kind of cohesive with the coloring page, as if it was part of the page to begin with. I didn't think blending my paint into the colored pencil would be as difficult as it was, but it was actually pretty difficult to get it to blend evenly and not like have streaks, because it's so smooth compared to the colored pencil, which is really rough. It did look okay in the end, but overall, in the long run, I probably should have gone with paint around the palace and just been really careful. That is the downside to adding things to a coloring page. Unlike normally with painting, you paint the background and you work your way forward. When the picture is already on the page, you can't exactly do that, and you have to paint around whatever image that you're working with, and sometimes that can be a little frustrating. So I painted the water, and I made sure that the dog's feet were down under the water, and then I put in all my highlights, tried to keep it really bright right around where the shadow and the reflection of the dog would be, and of course green where the reflection of the mountains would be. I've seen a lot of videos of people customizing thrift store paintings, and I definitely want to do that someday. At some point, we don't have a lot of thrift stores where I'm at, or at least not thrift stores that have paintings, but I think this is a good alternative, and you still get the joy of customizing something and making it super unique and super you without having to go through the anxiety of painting over a beautiful work of art and potentially ruining it. I added some grass and some trees along my palace. I started with the light colors and then I worked into the darker colors. Nothing super groundbreaking there. And I added a waterfall coming off of the wolf and into the pond, and I made it split and I put like a little rock in between the split. I think if I were to do this again, I would just make a single waterfall, but for whatever reason, I just felt like it should split there. And then I painted my ship and added the reflection of the ship in the water. I added the clouds to the sky, and then I went in and added all the little fine details to my palace. I added some borders, some windows. I've got like this little section of windows that goes down in a diagonal, like maybe, I don't know, there's a spiral staircase in that one, and like maybe some balconies and some columns to make it look a little bit more detailed and not so basic. So here is the finished product before and after. I'm telling you, you guys have got to try this. It is so fun. It will completely change the way that you color and relax and enjoy art, enjoy life. I'm telling you, do this now. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video, comment, and I'll see you next time.